Well, I want to say thank you, everybody, and welcome. We're at the Northern Colorado Clean Cities EV Group by Ride and Drive, where we're going to highlight the Nissan Leaf, Chevrolet Bolt, and the Kia Niro. And quickly, first, I would like to start us off with a poll. So if you want to fill this out, we just have a few questions for you. How did you hear about this event? We want to know your experience with electric vehicles and how likely you are to purchase an electric vehicle, as well as which features are most or least appealing to you. But if you just want to take a few minutes here and just fill that out, we'll get started that way and then carry on. All right, we've got a couple people filling it out. That's great. I'll give just one more second here. We've got 7 out of 11 that have voted. All right, let's see what we have. So it looks like a lot of people found out about this event through other resources. Oh, and most people here have either driven an electric vehicle or have been a passenger in one. And it looks like we're pretty confident our next car will be an electric vehicle. That's great. Fuel and operational savings is definitely one of the biggest benefits. I would agree with that for sure. And the least appealing is range. And we'll discuss the range options with these vehicles throughout this webinar as well. Perfect. And someone is unsure if they can charge their vehicle at home. Hopefully by the end of this, we'll be able to answer that question for you. Okay, so the reason why we're putting on this event is because we've had a really successful 2020 Group Buy program. So we have partnered with these different dealerships, Stellenbaugh Motors, Fort Collins Kia, and Fort Collins Nissan, in order to bring you really discounted prices with each of these EVs. As you can see, it ranges from up to $12,000 to even $22,000 off these vehicles. So we're really excited to highlight them all today. I do want to let you all know, if you have questions after this, we do offer free one-on-one virtual EV office hours. So if you're just a consumer or if your business needs advice on any transportation-related options, please schedule one with us. And I'll have Diego go ahead and link that in the chat box if you want to check it out after. You're welcome to schedule an advising session with us. And there are some great benefits of going electric. Thank you, Diego. We have increased energy security because we have less dependence on foreign oil. You get improved fuel economy with these vehicles, and you're able to fuel up at home. So the majority of people who own an electric vehicle do charge from the comfort of their own home. So you can avoid the gas stations, which is really nice. With that, you have lower fuel and maintenance costs. So you're not paying for gas, obviously, or using electricity to fill up your car. And you'll hear about the maintenance cost benefits in these videos. We also have zero tailpipe emissions, which leads to better air quality. For those of you who may be wondering, if I can't charge at home, where else can I charge? I want to let you all know that we are expanding the public electric vehicle charging stations currently. If you check out the AFDC EV station locator, you can see that there are plenty of public charging stations available in or around the Fort Collins area. And we are also part of the Core West program, so we're really aiming to increase access to charging stations in rural corridors. And now this is really exciting too. We just launched our campaign with Northern Colorado Clean Cities, our Driving Toward the Future campaign. So keep an eye out. We have a lot of different events coming up with all alternative fuels that will lead up to our 25th anniversary celebration, which is going to be early spring of 2021. And one of our first programs or projects with this is we're asking you, if you already own an EV or know somebody who does, to send us in a 1-sentence video that tells us your favorite thing about that EV. And all participants in this will be entered in to a raffle in order to win a prize. But let's get to the fun stuff here. I want to introduce Ryan Nelson from Dellenbaugh Motors. Ryan, do you want to say a couple words before we get started with your video?
Yes, hi, I'm Ryan, and I was, of course, with Dellenbaugh Motors and was introducing the Chevy Bolt EV. And I just wanted to kind of go over some quick pricing updates. There's a couple options for as far as pricing on the Bolt, depending on what APR you choose. If you do the 3.9% up to 72, you can qualify for $15,500 in tax credits. And then there's 0.9% APR up to 72 months, and you forego about $1,150 of the rebates, but still get $14,350. And then, yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for those price updates too. And if you want to either send those in the chat, and whether it's just me, I can always copy it over and let everybody else, you know, sometimes I think it's easy to look at that rather than just hear the amounts. But let's go ahead and get started with the video. Hey everybody, Amy here with Northern Colorado Clean Cities. I am joined with Ryan Nelson from Dellenbaugh Motors, and he's going to tell us a bit about the Chevy Bolt, which is involved in our Group 5 program.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Ryan, and we're taking a closer look at the 2020 Chevy Bolt EV. So this is a pretty powerful car, has 260 foot-pounds of torque with 200 horsepower, also has a maximum range of 259 miles. And one of the cool things about this Bolt is it charges super fast. You have DC fast charging provisions here, so you can get 100 miles of charge in 30 minutes, essentially charging the whole car at 80% an hour. This specific model is a Premier, so it's the top trim level, and it also has the Driver Confidence 2 safety package on there. So you have low-speed forward braking for automobiles and passengers as well. It also has rear cross traffic alert, side blind zone alert, and lane keep assist. So it's a super safe car, really efficient. I also think one of the most attractive things about owning an electric vehicle is the low maintenance. You don't have any oil changes, of course you don't have any gas. Your first real maintenance, major maintenance visit is going to be at 150,000 miles to clean out the coolant reservoirs in the vehicle. At first glance, the vehicle does look pretty compact, but that's one of my favorite things about it is it has quite a bit of room for the occupants, and it has 56.6 cubic feet of cargo space behind the second row. So it's a pretty capable vehicle, and you can do a lot of things with it, whether it's off-road or just in city driving. So let's take a closer look inside. As you can see, it has the interior protection package, so you do have the all-weather floor liners. And then in the Premier, you get this extra storage space and cover. So if you need to, you have room for you know, first aid kits, anything you might be taking to the lake, groceries. And then it also has the sunshade here to protect whatever you do have stored in the cargo area here. One thing I really like as well is you can lay these seats pretty flat here. So if you do have to make room for extra storage, or for whatever reason, if you had to sleep in the back, that's an option as well. Since the battery is horizontal on the floor, it does open up a lot of space for the occupants in the vehicle. So as you can see back here, there's quite a bit of space. So if you have larger people in the back of the car, there's plenty of leg room.
And with the battery, you said being positioned the way it is, how does that affect winter driving?
It actually helps out a lot. It gives it a lower center of gravity, so the vehicle's not as top heavy. And as long as you have good tires, that extra weight from the battery really helps the vehicle grip the road. And it actually makes it very safe in the winter. And it's also front wheel drive too, so you do have the extra weight of the drivetrain and the motor over the front wheel and the front axle. So they've done really well in the winter, just got to have good winter tires.
Yeah, absolutely. Like any Coloradoan.
Yep.
Perfect. And can we check out the front of the vehicle as well, where the engine is currently, or what's going on up there?
Absolutely. So I want to start by showing you this. This is the charging port here. So this will be for your level 1 and level 2 chargers. We always recommend getting a level 2 charger. That'll charge your vehicle about 25 miles every hour with a maximum charge time of 10 hours on a dead battery. This is going to be your DC fast charging provision here. So that's one whole unit. It is commercial grade only, but like I said before, that's going to charge your whole vehicle at 80% in 1 hour. So that's the most efficient way to charge it. And obviously more and more of those commercial charging stations are popping up across Colorado. So it's a lot easier to get your charging done.
And you can easily get a level 2 just in your own garage or at your house, correct?
Yep, there's a bunch of different options. I know the one we sell in our parts department is a good option. You'd have to have an electrician come in and wire it into a 220 outlet. But yeah, there's all kinds of different options for the level 2 charger.
Yeah, and the level 1 is just a regular standard size outlet. So that's always an option if you want to trickle charge overnight.
Yep, absolutely. And then the front here, this is pretty interesting to look at the components of the vehicle. So these are the 3 reservoirs that you'll change out at 150,000 miles.
I imagine you just save so much money not needing to change out anything really other than tires, brakes, and then these fluids. So
yeah, and you know, if you buy a new vehicle, a new Chevy Bolt from Dellenbaugh Motors, we pay for all the tire rotations for life on the vehicle. Oh. So we cover that one maintenance fact for you. And other than that, you just have the cabin air filter and, you know, topping off the fluids and brakes. So.
Oh, wow, that's great to know. Perfect. Well, let's check out the inside.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about this EV?
I like a lot of things about the Chevy Bolt, but I think my favorite thing is driving it. Just having, you know, 260 foot-pounds of torque and the 200 horsepower available as soon as you hit the accelerator, I think is the funnest thing about the vehicles. So it's definitely the performance. And at the same time, with the performance, it's nice to have the safety features that are available in it as well. So
yeah, those are 2 really great features of this vehicle. Is there anything else you want to show us right up here in front in the dashboard?
Yeah, so this is really important. So you have your regenerative braking paddle right here on the left side of the steering wheel. So that'll actually act as a brake if you want to stop the vehicle. Instead of hitting the actual brake pedal itself, you'll just depress the regenerative braking paddle here. And it'll bring you to a complete stop, and of course it'll turn the brake lights on so people behind you know you're stopping. And that's going to give you a more consistent draw and the most power back in the battery as opposed to using the brake pedal, which tends to bring you to a stop quicker.
So it's the most efficient way to get the most range from the battery, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. With that being said, they also have what's called one pedal driving. So if you put it in the low mode, which will activate the one pedal driving, as soon as you take your foot off the accelerator, it'll automatically apply the regenerative brakes and bring you to a stop. Now you can use that one pedal driving in tandem with the regenerative paddle here, and you'll actually get 70 kilowatts of power while you're doing that, which is the most efficient way to charge the battery, even on top of, or more efficient than the DC fast charger. So,
oh, wow.
So driving style really plays a big part in preserving your battery life and getting the most you can out of your range. So they warranty the battery for 8 years and 100,000 miles. So that's covered that whole time. And then of course you have your 3-year, 36,000 mile bumper to bumper warranty, which is pretty standard across most makes of vehicles. So
okay, great. Well, let's take a drive.
Let's do it.
Ryan, do you want to tell us about the $12,000 off and some of those discounts people can get if they stop by today?
Yeah, so there's actually some really great discounts right now for the 2020 Chevy Bolt. You can get up to $12,000 off sticker price through November. $4,000 of that's included as a tax rebate from the state of Colorado, which is only good till the end of the year. But now General Motors is actually giving you that credit up front as opposed to having to wait for your taxes. So it's a really good program to take advantage of. And we want to see you guys come in and take advantage of it before it runs out at the end of the year.
And I'm seeing too, the rearview mirror, you were saying some things about some of these cool cameras that the Bolt has. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is kind of like another safety feature here. This is the rear view camera mirror. So if you have tall occupants or a lot of a big load in the back seat there and you can't see in your rear view mirror, this gives you another angle other than the backup camera as to what's behind you, so you can see it even if your view is obstructed. So
when you're reversing, you'll have both the backup camera that's on the dash, and then you'll also have that on your rearview mirror.
Yeah, so you'll actually have the backup camera, which is a totally different lens than the rear view camera mirror. And let me just show you now, you'll also get a bird's eye view of the vehicle. So it actually shows you what's over the top of you, and then you can also see behind you. So
that's a really awesome feature.
Has some really good camera angles.
Definitely increases safety too. Well, that's great. Thanks for taking us around. It's been a really smooth drive, a lot of quick acceleration due to the electric vehicle. But y'all should swing by Dellenbach and check it out while we have our group buy throughout November of 2020.
Yeah, and if you want any more information, you can go to dellenbachmotors.com or just come on down to Dellenbach and schedule a test drive.
All right, well, thank you so much, Ryan. We look forward to having you at our virtual ride and drive and group buy event. So if any of you have questions that weren't covered in this video, join us then and we can get them all answered for you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, thank you.
All right, great video. I do see a quick question in the chat, Ryan, if you could answer. What is the Bolt 0 to 60 time?
6 seconds.
6 seconds. All right, that's great. Quick. Now we have the 2020 Electric Kia Niro, and we have Josh Johnson here. Josh, do you want to give a quick intro?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
Woohoo! All right. So the Kia Niro EV has been around for a little while. We just actually started getting access to them because they were so popular. They were only sold in New York and California, and Colorado has now become a hub for electric vehicles as well. And so we are proud to now be able to be a fully electric dealer. But yeah, the Electric Niro, and I'll kind of go through this a little bit later in regards to some of the great rebates and stuff like that going on for the Niro right now. But yeah, it's an excellent vehicle if you're looking at going all electric. 249 miles per charge, 201 horsepower, and 291 foot-pounds of torque. So the thing will definitely take off with you.
Perfect. Well, let's go ahead and watch this video then. And I will go ahead and mute myself really quick. All right, everyone, Amy again, and now we are at Fort Collins Kia, and I'm here with Josh, and he's going to tell us about the newest addition to our group buy, the Kia Niro.
Woohoo! Yeah! All right, so the Kia Niro. What's great about the Niro, starting off, especially if you get the electric one, is that you get 239 miles on a singular charge. And if you translate the amount of miles per gallon you would get out of this particular electric motor slash battery, you're looking at about almost 112 miles to the gallon, which is unheard of, you know. So a couple of cool benefits for that is the fact that you get about a 201 horsepower engine. So it makes it very zippy, which is nice. Makes it really, really fun. You know, one of the big advantages of the electric power is that it's extraordinarily zippy. It's operated by I think it's either 2 or 4 liquid ion batteries that operate underneath, right over here behind the rear tires. The batteries just sort of sit down there, and the electric motor sits up at the front. So what makes it great is that all of the weight is lower, so that gives it a very low center of gravity. Makes it really good on the road. Actually, I took one of these the other day when we got our 10 inches of snow up here, and it operated amazing. So as a family vehicle, you can use a lot of the space in here for additional people, for additional items. Say if you're moving somewhere, you can put the seats down nice and flat, so that way you get all the additional space. You can use Oh, this. Move your mattress, which is excellent. And that's, of course, a Kia specialty.
Is there any other cool features that's like your favorite aspect of this vehicle?
Yes, come on. So, what makes it awesome is Kia has standardized Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So, for those of you who don't know what that is, what it does is it mirrors it up on this nice big screen here, right? And so what happens is you end up seeing exactly everything that your phone would see.
And can that be hands-free as well for
Yes.
safety?
Yep, absolutely. So you can literally have your hands glued to the steering wheel and still operate Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is awesome. A couple other things specifically on this model. So this is the EX model, which is the mid-level trim on all of them. This one comes with all the standard safety features. Blind spot detection, which allows you, if somebody's driving in your blind spot, you can see them, or at least it'll detect it so you know that you don't accidentally run into somebody. Lane keep assist, it basically keeps you within the lane. And it'll actually beep at you if you try to like go over the lane without having your blinker on. So very much trying to keep you protected, actively working with you to make you a better driver. It's got active cruise control as well. Somebody pulls out in front of you and decides they're going to drive 4 miles an hour. It will basically slow you down on its own. So it will apply the brakes. It utilizes a forward-facing radar that will apply the brakes for you and then match the speed of the person in front of you. Makes it super convenient because basically if you've got the lane keep assist on and you've got the active cruise control on, you literally aren't doing anything anymore. It's about as autonomous as you can get without the car thinking for you. One other thing about this is kind of going back to some of the features in regards to it being an electric vehicle is it takes about 9.5 hours on a secondary charge, or what they call stage 2 charger, in order to charge it from 0 to 100. But supposedly they do, if you have a level 3 charger or a supercharge, you can get, in 30 minutes of charge time, get like up to 70%, something pretty impressive.
Can you show us how you charge it?
Certainly, yeah. All right, so for those of you who've never driven an electric car before, this is what we call the Buzz Lightyear gun, okay, because it kind of looks like a space gun. And simply just disconnect the front, and it just plugs in like so.
And it comes with the standard outlet, it looks like, so technically you could charge it with just your regular outlet at home, but you do have the option to increase that to a level 2 charger as well.
Absolutely.
So one thing already I'm noticing is how much space is up here. It's really roomy.
It's designed to be a nice, relatively comfortable family car. Some kind of cool aspects is one of the things you can do is, of course, monitoring the amount of battery power you have. You know, just like with you would with a regular gasoline vehicle. But you get to kind of also watch a little bit more on how much you're putting your foot down too hard or not, kind of giving you some feedback on how you can save more power. The Niro has regenerative braking. So when you push your foot on the brake, it takes that power, it utilizes the motor, puts it in reverse, and kind of actually redistributes that power back into the batteries to try and help save you as much as possible.
Yeah, that can give longer range.
Absolutely,
by
yeah.
Driving that way.
Yeah, of course, designed to do that. You know, you can't do that with a regular internal combustion engine, right? You can't recreate fuel to put back in the tank. So it's definitely one of the benefits with it.
And I noticed this, the shifter is a little bit different too, so it's a knob turn style, is that correct?
Exactly. It's basically just sending electrical signals to the engine.
And is there a way, if you're driving and you accidentally bumped this, is there any features that make sure that something like that wouldn't happen, or where, you know, you wouldn't go into neutral while you're driving on the highway?
The design specifically is supposed to be that if I put it in neutral, shifting conditions not met, meaning that you have to have your foot on the brake in order for it to do that.
Oh, okay.
So it's the brake is what simulates kind of you're interested in changing what in a sense what gear you're in, even though there's no real gears in this, but that's what it basically utilizes.
And so it looks like now that when you did brake, it did go to neutral.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
That's interesting. That's a cool feature.
Here's kind of an interesting feature called Auto Hold. And now what this is I haven't seen this on any other vehicle, and it's kind of a Kia thing. maybe I'm wrong, but maybe they just call it something different. If I utilize auto hold and I put auto hold in there, it'll actually keep the brake on until I put my foot on the gas.
Oh, so you can keep that on, and then wherever you're driving, when you reach a stop sign that's up, you can take your foot off the brake and it won't move.
Exactly. Like my foot is not on the brake anymore.
Yeah,
and yet we're not going forward or backward. And as soon as I put my foot on the gas, it releases. Kia wants to make sure you have as much control over the car as possible. So Eco, Normal, and Sport. These are all the different drive modes that Kia offers. And what it does is it gives you a different response when it comes to how much power you get from the engine. So right now I'm in Sport. So this is the maximum amount of power I get and the maximum amount of torque when I'm going from a dead stop to and accelerating. With Normal, it kind of just decreases that a little bit, and each decrease is designed to help save you battery.
What I love about, electric cars is that you don't have to worry about necessarily like the shifting of gears and everything like that, because there's less parts to these vehicles, but they go 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're
0 to 75.
or here on Drake, which is 0 to 40.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to worry about a transmission or transmission gears to potentially fail on you. So there's a little bit less maintenance for the vehicle that you have to utilize.
Yeah, which is a lot of saving costs right there.
Exactly.
No oil changes, less maintenance in general.
Exactly, because Kia automatically offers a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty on all of their cars. What do you think about the ride?
Oh, the ride is very nice. It's very smooth, very quiet, and just so smooth. That's like my favorite thing.
Kia rarely ever gets less than a five-star safety rating from the IIHS and the Transportation and Safety Administration. You do get an active display up front in the. I don't know if you can get close enough for this, but if you can see where the energy flow is going. This is pretty standard in most electric vehicles, but it makes it really easy for you to kind of know when you're charging the battery or when the battery is being utilized for propulsion.
That's great.
So, and that's pretty much all I got, unless you have any other questions.
No, this was wonderful. The drive was amazing. A lot of fun. Thank you so much, Josh.
You're very welcome.
We'll go ahead and have Q&A during our event, but if you guys have other questions, come on down to Kia in Fort Collins and ask Josh for some questions.
Ask Josh for questions.
All right, that was a lot of fun working with Josh there for the Kia Niro. Our last but not least video will be of the 2020 Nissan Leaf. And now I've worked with Dale quite a bit to get these videos. He's been a great help. Dale, do you want to give yourself a brief introduction?
Guman. I kind of do the digital ops for all of the Weibull groups. So it's the Kia store as well as the Nissan and some others. Got to meet Amy doing this, and we're advertising the Leaf, and there's a lot of great offers, I think, just all around, including Dellenbaugh, the Kia and the Niro and the Leaf. I'm excited to present this information to you guys.
Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and get this started, so I'll mute myself again. Hi everyone, Amy here with Northern Colorado Clean Cities. I'm joined with Tara and Dale from Fort Collins Nissan, and we're going to talk to you about the 2020 Nissan Leaf. Tara, go ahead and take it away.
So this is our 2020 Nissan Leaf. This model specifically is our 62 kilowatt battery. What that means is it's got a higher range than our 40 kilowatt battery, which was last year and the year before's model. The difference is going to be about 150 miles. This one maxes out around 252 if you charge it all the way. 226 is going to be an average, and that includes the regenerative braking that they're known for mostly. If you look inside, this is going to be one of our standard models. So this isn't the higher trim levels, but it is the higher trim level battery. So most of the basic features are in this. This is going to be the eco mode, the e-pedal, which is basically a go-kart mode for the Leafs. You control everything with one pedal. If you've ever driven a golf cart, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, it takes a little practice, but it's really fun. This also comes with dual climate control, which is pretty standard in most Nissans nowadays. My husband runs hot, I run cold, so it's perfect for us on long trips. It does come with XM radio. You get this screen that doesn't go anywhere, which I really like on the front. It does come with Bluetooth, all the hands-free accessories, hands-free texting, hands-free calling, telescoping steering wheel, which is pretty standard in a lot of Nissans now, up, down, and out. You're gonna get the all-around view sensors, all-around sensors, which is gonna do your automatic braking or your emergency braking. Huge safety feature on today's cars. I specifically like the Leafs. Probably my favorite thing about them is the rollerball shifter. Instead of actually moving and feeling it, you kind of just slide it around to the different gears, which is one of my favorite features. Different safety features you can access almost any time. With the middle screen up here, all the arrows will get you where you need to go. Settings wise, does have vehicle dynamic control, driver assistance. It has the basics, so lane assist, blind spot, emergency braking. It's got your parking aids, which is the sensors I was telling you about. Sensors are really cool. I'll show you a little bit of those. Those are on the front and the back of the car.
So does it warn you before it starts braking, or?
So I've actually had a hands-on encounter. I was playing with my phone, which I shouldn't have been doing, and I was driving my mom's the Nissan Kicks, which has the same sensors on the back, and it beeps at you. So beep, 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 and then you can feel it slowly start to brake you. So it's a really cool safety feature. I remember when it happened, the whole thing that was running through my head was, I'm about to wreck my mom's new car. So I like it now. That's probably one of my best safety features. It does come with everything you need to charge. Every Leaf does come with all of that. Mats. I love the mats on these too because they're more like carpeted. They're more like floor mats in your home. So they're not like car mats.
So when you say it comes with everything you need to charge, does it allow you to connect to, you know, a simple outlet at home like a 110?
So it does have a connector for a 110, but it also recommends that you do a 240. The 240 is going to be the 8-hour, which a lot of people go ahead and go with because it's so cheap to switch over. Electrician average, my customer said about $500.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And it switches from a 110, which is like a dryer, like a car dryer plug, to a more hefty of a charge to charge this quicker. So overnight, 8 hours is usually comfortable.
And what about fast charging? Does it have that capability?
It does have a fast charge. I try to steer my customers away from fast charging because that is going to be the only thing that damages your battery. They recommend that you do it when needed. Obviously, they don't want you stranded on the road. I'll pop this and show you the inside. But if you don't need to quick charge, they don't recommend you do it.
Right, that would only be for like long trips or when you can't have access to either a 110 or 240, is that correct?
Right, emergency. I hope the car's on. It will not pop.
Oh.
And over here is going to be trickle charge, quick charge, EV. EVgo does have a lot of promotions going on when you buy Leafs. Look into the EVgo program. You can just Google it online, and it'll have discounts and rebates and things, so you can get away with doing it cheaper. And it's basically a credit card that you use to charge your vehicle.
Well, that's nice. That's a good added feature, too, for when you're out and about. Most people do charge their vehicles, it seems like, from the comfort of their own home, which is really nice, is that you can just plug it in, and then when you wake up, you're good to go. But how about anything else that you think, you know, you have the shifter that's your favorite, any other features that you want to highlight on this vehicle?
I love how quiet it is. That's probably everybody's favorite thing. You cannot tell from starting it and stopping it. I actually have customers all the time be like, is it on? Is it on?
Yeah.
And just push buttons. And it doesn't hurt it or anything, but it's so quiet that you literally can't tell if the car's running or not.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about EVs, too. Well, great. Let's go ahead and take it for a drive. Dale was nice enough to let us take this vehicle on a drive, and right away I noticed there's two different modes I can go to. I can do either driving mode or braking mode. So that's kind of fun. Driving mode is literally just like how you would normally drive a vehicle. So if you're worried about changing up from your normal drive, you know, you can just do driving mode. Braking mode though does help your battery because as soon as I let off the gas, it starts to brake. I am approaching this stop sign. I'm in brake mode. As soon as I take my foot off the gas pedal, it's starting to brake for me. I'm not even hitting the brakes. Also helps bring my battery up in range. So that regenerates your battery, or it's called regenerative braking, but it's pretty fun. So I'm playing around with this too right now, and it looks like there are different charging timers you can put on while you're charging your vehicle so that if you are worried about peak hours, you can set the times. So that way it will stop charging at the time that you set it to. And it looks like there's other settings that you can play with here. There's driver assistance, different vehicle settings. So it has a lot of capabilities here. And this isn't even the fully souped up model. And you can see I have 38% of my battery left, and I'm in B mode, but my E pedal is off. So that one pedal driving that Tara was talking about, I'm not using currently. Okay, so I actually came back to Fort Collins Nissan, and now I'm driving in the Nissan SL. So this is their top of the line Nissan Leaf, and some of the deals are a little bit different on this model. You still get $22,000 off, but to lease it, it's $249 a month for a 24-month loan, but it's still with $0 down. So it has great deals, and this is the top of the line model. And I'm just gonna take it out for a spin and see how she performs. And just like with all the other electric vehicles and the Leaf specialty, the acceleration is very quick and very smooth because the lack of transmission since it's all electric. Something really nice about this electric Leaf is how it shows you where your energy usage is going to. So if I hit the accelerator, you can see that I'm using a lot of energy on that electric motor. But if I let off, I am gaining a lot of energy back. So that's energy going into the battery that can help me get further range. And this one is actually listed at 215 mile range with this battery, which the average person drives about 30 miles a day, so you have plenty of range with this kind of vehicle. Okay, another cool little feature about these vehicles is I just went to the main info page and went EV info. And I can look at, like I just showed, my energy usage. I can also look at my driving range, but this is my favorite. I can find nearby stations. So if I'm needing to charge on the go, where can I go? Well, I can click one of these options, and I will replace whatever I was driving to before. And now it just shows me right where I can go to get to a charging station. Come on down, guys, take a test drive. It's really fun to drive these electric vehicles, and the Nissan Leaf has some amazing discounts through the month of November with our group buy.
Thanks, Amy.
All right, so now that you've seen all of our videos, please feel free if you have any questions to go ahead and put them in the chat box. We'll make sure to get to those right at the end. But I do want to give you a few final reminders. So the group buy program does end November 30th. So some of those discounts will go away at the end of the month. So now is definitely the time to go check it out and get a test drive. As you may have heard in some of the videos, the Colorado state tax incentive goes down from $4,000 to $2,500 in 2021. So at the end of this year, it will drop to that $2,500. So that's going to be quite a difference there. You can get $4,000 now. Not only that, you can find more information about the federal tax credits, which can get you up to $7,500 off these vehicles. And we can help you with those free advising sessions as well that I mentioned earlier if you do have extra questions about that. Not only that, you can check in with your local utility. A lot of the time, they do offer incentives or rebates on home charging. So if you don't want to do the trickle charge, the 110, and you want to upgrade to a level 2 that charges your battery a bit quicker, check with your local utility first because they could have incentives for you. And really quickly, I am going to do our last poll. Not that one. All right, just to finish it up here, and then we'll go into Q&A. And when you're finished with the poll, I would also be curious to know what your favorite spec that you've seen throughout these videos would be. So if you have time once you finish the poll and you don't have any more questions, feel free to type that in as well. I'm very interested to know what your thoughts are. Okay, we got 7. That's how many voted last time. So we'll go ahead and end the poll here. And it looks like similar results last time, some neutral, but a lot of people saying that they're very likely to get an electric vehicle for their next vehicle. Operational savings, still one of the highest favorite features. Oh, and here's something that's interesting. So lack of utility SUV and truck options is a feature that is now least appealing, when last time it was range. So hopefully, as these battery technologies are increasing and the range is increasing, we'll have a lot less worries about range anxiety. Thank you so much for taking the time to fill that out. Okay. So now time for some Q&A. I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen, but we'll go ahead and send out all of the contact information too at the end of this. But I'd love to see some faces here while we do Q&A, so I'm going to stop sharing now. Okay. So it looks like we did have a question. If each of you could answer, Ryan, I know you already answered this, but what is the 0 to 60 time on the Leaf as well as the Niro?
This is Josh with Fort Collins Kia. I can answer that. The Niro is looking at about 6.2 seconds from 0 to 60.
Thank you.
And if you don't mind, Amy, I just wanted to run through a couple of things I wanted to correct on the video that I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I was going through that, I was kind of a baby EV salesman, and I wanted to correct a couple of the things that I stated there. For one, it's actually 239 miles is the average. However, you can get up to 282 miles per charge on the Niro if you operate it in Eco Plus mode. Now, Eco Plus mode removes your air conditioning or heating or anything like that, only keeps the defrost on, basically solely utilizes the energy towards propulsion only, but you can get up to 282 miles with that. Going with this, if you're looking at a level 3 charger, it's actually 1 hour to 80%, which is similar to the Bolt. I think I said 30 minutes in the video. And one thing we didn't cover also is the Niro does also have the auto regenerative system as well as the regenerative braking paddles, which allows you to increase or decrease the amount of regenerative braking you want to utilize. And then a couple other things that I couldn't add because I couldn't demonstrate was Kia comes with what is called the UVO app, which allows you to access the vehicle, keep track of your charge, schedule charges throughout the day, schedule them for specific times for it to start and stop, as well as remote start, so remote climate control, locking and unlocking the doors as well. So I just want to bring those things up because those are things that I noticed that I was incorrect on in the video.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. And I want to leave space too if Ryan or Dale want to add, if there's anything in the video that you want to clarify, feel free to chime in and do that as well. But otherwise, I am curious about the 0 to 60 time, Dale, if you.
Yeah, so Amy, the 0 to 60 is going to be 7.4 seconds. And then as far as the, the contact information, I saw on that thing you had myself, I went ahead and just added Pat Rivera. He's our EV ambassador for the store. He's, been here at Fort Collins Nissan for about 5 years. So he has a great amount of knowledge on the EV vehicle. So I did add his email address on the chat. So I definitely want to defer all questions to that email address in regards to the Leaf.
Okay, perfect. We will definitely add that. So that's all the 0 to 60. And looking back, I know we had some other questions. Lauren asked about the 4,000 state tax credit, and yes, that does go down to 2,500 in 2021. Amanda would like to know what the range of the Chevy Bolt is. Ryan, if you could answer that.
Yeah, so on a full charge, it's 259 miles is what they advertise in the 2020. However, based on your driving habits, you can get a further range than that if you're using the one pedal driving and the regenerative braking in tandem. Of course, having less air conditioning, less creature comforts going, you can always extend their range. But what they advertise is 259 miles.
Thank you. And I have heard that as well. Some folks with electric vehicles will start their car while charging it. So in the winter, sometimes they'll have it started, turn the heat on, and then warm up their vehicle, and then, take the charger out and go for a drive. So that way the inside is still nice and cozy for them while they're driving to their destination. So that's one way you can kind of still save on your range, but, have that creature comfort as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see. Another question, Drea wants to know if quick charging damages all EV batteries, or if it was just mentioned in that one video. If that's something specific to that model, or if it's directed to all. And I think, Diego, you can answer this one pretty well, I would imagine.
I can give you a physics answer of why batteries decrease in capacity due to a higher flow of electrons. It is because of the dendrites that are accumulating within the actual battery itself. So over time, when you quickly, it is better to trickle charge or to have a lower capacity.
Yeah, absolutely. But that doesn't mean that if you are going on a road trip or if you are out and about and you use the fast charger, that automatically your battery is going to, degrade. That they're just simply saying, my understanding is that you wouldn't want to always use the fast charger to charge your battery. Level 2 charger, I don't think has that issue. And level 1 obviously is the easiest on your battery. But that's just something to be aware of. And
yes, it's very nominal. It's very, very small amounts of degradation. So sorry if I scared anybody, but yeah. So it's very, very small amounts. But that's typically why I particularly prefer the trickle charge. But you can absolutely do it. It will not harm the battery.
Yeah, you can still go on a road trip, use your DC fast chargers, come back and have your range. You'll be okay. Here's a question for Nissan, and this is a question that I also have. Do we know when the Nissan electric crossover SUV, the Aria, will be released in the US? Are there any updates on that?
Yeah, it's going to be closer to the end of next year. They still haven't given a specific date.
Okay. Good to know. I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm very excited about I love all of these EVs in this group buy, but it is exciting to know that there's going to be different styles coming out as well.
I agree.
Then, yeah, it's fun. And then Amanda said, it was mentioned the level 1 charger is a washer dryer outlet. So I do want to clarify that too, because the level 1 charger is your typical 110 outlet. So what my computer, charger is plugged into right now. Level 2, I believe, is very similar to the washer and dryer because it's a 240 volt. So does that answer that question, Amanda? Okay.
Yes, that makes sense. You got it.
And then Walter would like to know if the Leaf is still air-cooled.
Yes, it is.
Perfect. And my last question I have is, do we know if state rebates might increase in the future? That is a wonderful question. I don't have the answer to that. I don't know if anybody here has, any special insights. I do know that Colorado State in general is very aggressive with its, transportation goals and greenhouse gas goals. So they're doing a roadmap right now that will kind of answer some of these questions for the future. My hope personally is that we'll have some incentives and rebates for used vehicles in the future, just to make it a little bit more equitable so everybody has access to these electric vehicles. Diego, do you have any top secret insights on that?
Well,
State
besides,
or federal?
everything in the news that read like Tesla started some lobby group with ChargePoint, and did anybody read that? I read that. So they're starting some lobby group to probably increase the incentives that you will see federally. But statewide, I think I would say exactly what you would say. We are always so supportive of EVs. What we're hoping to do is champion continued incentives. As of right now, though, the incentives will go down in January. So that is just something that we will see. Whether or not they will go back is something up to Congress, and that's something that we will absolutely keep everybody aware of. So there is not any news as of right now, but you have champions in your corner. So let us know if we can champion anything for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Diego. And then Walter would like to know if the Niro is air or liquid cooled. And I would also be curious about the Bolt as well, so we know for each vehicle.
Yes. So this is Josh, since you can't see my face. Yes, the Niro is liquid cooled.
And then Ryan, what about the Bolt?
So the Bolt is liquid cooled, and that's what I was showing you in the video with the 3 reservoirs.
Yep.
So you have one for the battery, one for the transmission, and one that acts like a waterless water heater that will actually heat the vehicle as well. So, and that's the first major maintenance you have at 150,000 miles, is to clean those 3 reservoirs out.
Perfect. And Amanda, the federal, I do not believe will go down, but what's going to happen is each electric vehicle has a certain amount of vehicles that they must hit. And once you reach, I think it's 200,000, then that incentive goes away. So it's not like it will go down incrementally like the state tax credit is, but it will just go away for some models. So like the Tesla, I believe, has reached that mark. So they don't get that 7,500. And then the last thing, I just want to check on, Ryan, you mentioned your battery warranty. What kind of battery warranties does Nissan and Kia offer for their electric vehicles?
Okay, so,
Yeah.
sorry, Dale.
No worries, Josh. For the Nissan Leaf, that's going to be an 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty on the battery.
Okay, perfect. And for the Kia?
And for the Niro, it is a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
Okay, perfect. So that's good. I know a lot of people have worries about that. With that in mind, what would be the cost for purchase of a new battery?
Amy, can you repeat that question?
Yeah, so let's say your warranty runs out on the battery and you need to replace it 15 years down the road. What would that cost look like? Well, I know you don't know the future costs, but as of right now, what would those costs be?
$3,000 to $4,000 from what I've been told to replace the lithium-ion battery system as of now.
Okay.
For the Leaf, due to my understanding, it's between about, I think, 5 to 8.
Okay. That's helpful to know. So anywhere from like 3,000 to 8,000 we could estimate. But I haven't heard of any electric vehicle owners having that problem yet, so that's good.
Right.
Looks like that's all the questions, unless there's any other questions. And feel free to unmute and ask as well. We have this Zoom meeting style, so it can be a little bit more interactive as well. But we have 2 minutes left, so if there's any other questions or thoughts, please let us know now. But I'll definitely get all of this information out to you all as well.
Well, Amy, actually, I would like to jump in. Everyone was a little bit concerned, and you were talking about the Rogue. Now, I know that Kia is coming out with a plug-in hybrid Sorento after the first of the year. So it's not full EV, but they are jumping into the plug-in hybrid market for their SUVs, and it will be all-wheel drive. So if anybody's interested in something like that, going kind of half and half there, that's definitely an option for you.
Yeah, that's great. All of the new technologies, and I think it's important to know, you know, we're talking about fully electric right now, but there is transition phases for folks too. Some people would prefer to, you know, have the plug-in hybrid first and go from there as we advance the technologies and everything. So, and having SUV and truck options will definitely help, especially in Colorado's climate and geography. So that's really exciting news, Josh. Thank you for sharing. Any last closing statements from my dealer reps?
I do not.
Okay, well, I hope you all go take a test drive. These vehicles are really fun to drive. We have great discounts ending November 30th. Again, that state tax credit jumps from $4,000 down to $2,500. So take advantage if you can, and if not, just go take a fun test drive. But thank you all so much for joining us today. I'll make sure to get this information back out to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for
Thank
coming.
you, Amy.
Thank you for hosting.